Welcome to r/Maliciouscompliance, where a bully gets justice. Our next Reddit post is from Shell User. So, for backstory, I live in the Netherlands and my girlfriend is Japanese. My girlfriend's family is visiting from Japan. This includes her 2 girl cousins who are about 11 and 12 years old. This story is mostly about my girlfriend's cousins, and for context, those cousins only speak Japanese. We took the kids for a walk through my hometown and they were quite interested, but when we went past a playground, that also quickly got their attention. So the 3 of us decided to go sit on a bench and let the kids have some fun. There were several activities, like an air balloon castle, swings, a sandbox for younger kids to play in, just plenty of things to do. So around 15 or so minutes later, I spot the 2 kids again by accident near the exit of the castle, with a little kid in between them. I'd say the little kid was around 8 or so. I can't really tell exactly what's going on, but I did see the kid point to the area of the sandbox, and that's where the 3 of them headed next. Before I can say anything to my girlfriend, a young lady walks up to us and asks, in Dutch, if we've seen a little girl passing by. This seems way too coincidental to me, so I ask, is she wearing a pink dress by any chance? The woman's face lights up as I tell her that she seems to be with my girlfriend's younger cousins, and I point to the sandbox. But when we look over, we now also see an older boy near the girls, and he's clearly harassing them. The small girl is visibly crying, but also being comforted by one of the 2 younger cousins while the other is keeping the boy away from her. We all walk over to the sandbox just when the boy manages to shove one of the cousins out of his way, and he's clearly trying to bully the young girl in the pink dress, but he's being stopped by one of the cousins. This is when we arrive. The woman who was with us berates the boy and tells him to stop picking on young children, but the little brat clearly isn't very impressed. The next moment, the boy's mother, I assume, storms over yelling, and she has every appearance of a Karen, or a Taki as we call them over here in the Netherlands. A little argument ensues, mainly between the mother of the girl in the pink dress and the Karen. It goes back and forth, but it's apparent that, according to the Karen, her brat did nothing wrong by picking on a girl half his own size. And this fine example of a mother even had the audacity to blame the other mother for raising such a weak little C-word. Basically, dat Krij jer Irvin alsje dama huppel katjas up voit. And the Karen says, kids will be kids, just let them sort out their own problems already. But she does take the boy with her as she walks away. The mother of the girl gets ready to grab her kids and leave, but in the meantime, the girl has completely calmed down and is actually having a great time with the 2 cousins. Unknown to anyone else, my girlfriend decides to comply with the earlier suggestion. First, she asks the mother to reconsider leaving because the kids are having so much fun together. My girlfriend also comments how amazing kids are. They clearly don't speak the same language, yet they seem to understand each other just fine and are having a good time. The mother agrees, and my girlfriend now addresses both of her cousins in Japanese. And it sounded very serious to me. Something about the tone, the way she talked, and also looked at both girls, even a bit sternly. They both nodded and clearly said, "Hi," aka "Yes, ma'am." I think I even saw a small head bow, but I'm not too sure. Our little group goes to sit on a bench nearby, and for the next 5 minutes, nothing happens. We're just having some small talk. Then the bully returns. The mother of the small girl wanted to stand up, but gets stopped by my girlfriend, who tells her that she has nothing to worry about because her kid is completely safe. Just watch. Trust me on this. The mother is visibly uneasy, but does remain seated. This is when I noticed that the behavior and stance of the 2 cousins had completely changed. They seemed much more confident and relaxed. The boy starts making a fuss while one of the cousins stands up, points to him, and yells something at him in Japanese, obviously. He once again tries to shove her out of the way, but this time she's faster. She steps aside, does something with her leg, and gives him a huge shove. Next moment, he's eating sand. No, literally, he gets up visibly angry while his face is covered in sand. This time, he becomes violent and actually tries to hit one of the cousins with his fists. Yeah, tries. She evades one attempt, then grabs his hand, spins it around, and the next moment, the boy finds his arm twisted behind his back and he starts screaming. The other cousin now also stands up, pats the young girl on her head, makes another move, and once again the boy gets shoved to the ground, this time by both cousins. Hard. When he looks up, the other cousin actually makes a moving gesture as if he wants to kick him, but without actually moving her legs or anything. She's obviously just threatening him. My girlfriend pokes me with a huge grin on her face and tells me, "Surely that deserves a point for self-restraint, don't you agree?" She's visibly loving every moment of this. Apparently, the boy isn't totally stupid and he runs off, while one cousin immediately turns to the young girl again, who is clearly still having a good time. Not at the least upset with the bully. "What was that in God's name?" the mother asks. "Oh, sorry, what the hell was that?" she asks. My girlfriend tells the mother that her cousins are taking the same self-defense classes as she and her sister once did, and that she's decided to pull ranks by telling her cousins that it was okay for them to actually defend themselves, as long as they don't overdo it, of course. The mother wanted to know more about these classes, but unfortunately for her, my girlfriend had to tell her that the actual school was located all the way out in a suburb of Tokyo, so not something her daughter would be able to attend. We're chatting some more for the next 10 minutes, after which the bully's mother storms over to us with a BOA in tow. BOA is Dutch for Bewust Angeschickte Ambtenaar, which basically means a deputy, but without the proper training or having any weapons. Generally speaking, they usually just hand out tickets. The BOA tells us that he's gotten a complaint from the woman about people beating up her kid, to which the mother of the young girl immediately snaps, "Whatever happened with letting the kids sort out their own problems?" Now, the funny thing is, apparently the whole spectacle didn't really go unnoticed, and before we could say or do anything, someone else had stormed over as well. "I saw the whole thing, officer," an older woman said. "Her brat was harassing and beating the kid in the pink dress when those two awesome kids stepped in and protected her." Meanwhile, another man had walked over. "Officer, that brat got everything he deserved. He started it. The only thing that happened was those girls defended themselves from him." The officer listened to everyone's statements and ended up deciding to ticket the mother of the brat. I assume for disturbing the peace, but I don't know any details because at the time we decided to leave and we went our separate ways. During our walk back to the hotel, the cousins told us the whole story, and I actually learned something new as well. While they were in the castle, they saw the boy harassing the young girl in the pink dress and immediately decided that this wasn't right. Also, because he was almost twice her size. He actually pulled on her hair while she was already crying, which made the cousins plain angry. But the only thing they did was get the boy away from the girl. One cousin distracted the boy by blocking him from grabbing the girl's hair again, and she also started taunting him while the other comforted the girl and led her to the exit. So I asked my girlfriend why they didn't do the self-defense right away, to which she told me that they weren't allowed to. The first rule of self-defense is apparently always leave if you can. And her cousins are at a level where the use of these techniques outside of their school is strictly prohibited, unless there's an actual threat, of course. Or if they've been given direct permission by an elder of the same school. A rule which my girlfriend was stretching a little bit, but she told me that she would write up the whole altercation so that the cousins could take her letter back with them. She was actually not kidding when she talked about points for self-restraint, because that would actually be her advice in the letter. But yeah, typical hypocrite behavior. Let the kids sort it out until it doesn't go your way, eh? It's funny how when a bully is bullying someone else, it's all just kids will be kids. Oh, they're just playing, it's no big deal. But then when someone punches back against the bully, suddenly, oh, what a monster, how could you do that? Arrest him. Our next Reddit post is from 68 Cadillac. I got my first career job in a local government, keeping tabs on its real estate and the legal documents relating to that real estate. I am wet behind the ears. My first 40 hours per week career job. This was a time when multitasking was a huge buzzword in business, and it seemed every single job I applied for required someone with good multitasking skills. I thought that it was BS. I worked best when only working on one task at a time and managing my workload via a daily time allotment schedule. That is, I'd schedule my work in 15-minute lumps when I got in the morning and work on those tasks. That way, I never missed a deadline or had a project fall between the cracks. For example, some tasks got slotted 2 hours, some entire days, some just 15 minutes. I loved to keep my desk clean. All tasks that appeared in my physical inbox were sorted and prioritized. The paperwork was then filed and the task scheduled for later that day, or later in the week depending on how urgent it was. Consequently, my desk was always empty save one folder and a few maps related to the folder. Once one task was done, that folder and its maps were filed, a new folder and its maps were retrieved. One afternoon, my direct boss walks in, looks at my desk with its one folder and two maps, looks at my clean-topped filing cabinets, looks at my empty inbox, grunts, and walks out. 20 minutes later, my boss strides back into the office, drops 18 inches of folders and papers onto my inbox. He states proudly and firmly, "OP, it doesn't look like you have enough to do. This should keep you busy." He smiled and strutted back to his cluttered office. It was busy work. 3 weeks of mind-numbing paperwork. Nothing outside my work description. Just more like duplicate files, old contracts, unorganized paperwork, or outdated maps. In dealing with the aftermath of that dump of paperwork, I learned my lesson. While doing my actual job was important, it was equally important that hard work appear to be happening, so I could do my actual job. I started saving old files, old maps, and old legal documents. I rebound papers that normally would have been recycled into legitimate-looking folders. I transformed my office into a duplicate of my boss's chaotic file and paper hellscape. My inbox always had papers and folders in it. The height and number would vary daily. It was never empty. I had folders piled on top of file cabinets, folders and stacks on the floor, 24 of those white office boxes packed with files towering around my work area. I even had a map rack with old maps rolled up on it. My office looked utterly cluttered. I even took to walking everywhere with a steno pad, a file folder, and sometimes a map under my arm. Didn't matter where. Getting coffee, pad and file. Pooping, pad and file. Pointless meeting, pad, 2 files. Actually necessary and productive meeting, pad, relevant file, relevant map. Every morning, right after scheduling my real work, I would shuffle the fake folders and paper around my desk and work area. I'd move the boxes about every 2 weeks. But in all that visual chaos, I kept one area of my desk clean where the real work happened. One day, my boss peeked into my office, the door bumping into a stack of 3 full white boxes placed behind it, preventing it from fully opening. A single file fell off the top, spilling its guts all over the floor. He looked around, paused at the mess he just made, then said, sorry about that. What you working on?" I rattled off 3 of the highest priority properties on the current week's schedule and the tasks for each. "All right, I'll give this work to someone else," and he walked down the hall. I'd already completed those tasks. For those of you who end up working in corporate America, one of the most important lessons to learn is the reward for a job well done is more work. Our next Reddit post is from Floating a Waste. I twisted and sprained my ankle Monday morning packing up our camp for Labor Day weekend. Having done this a few times in the past, I didn't want to bother to have it checked out. Who wants to pay $1,000 for urgent care to tell you to rest and ice it? Yay, America! So I went to work on Tuesday. I got morning stuff done and explained the situation to my boss. I told him I'd need to take a day because it was swollen and painful, and I needed to rest and be off it in order for it to heal. He gets in a tizzy because, God forbid, anyone needs to miss work for anything at all, ever, and snaps at me for not planning to go to the doctor. Wednesday, I go into work, still limping and still wearing improper footwear. I can only fit the injured foot into a crock without unbearable pain. The first thing the boss says is, "Don't you think you should get that checked out? I don't understand why you don't want to just pay for it." I explained again that I've had this injury in the past. It's definitely not broken. And honestly, not even as swollen as it had been when I'd done it before. I want to be at work to keep up on things and make everyone's job less difficult. I would just need to take it easy for a couple of days, which isn't a problem considering I can do 90% of the job from my desk and the 10% slack is beyond easy for everyone else to pick up. Especially since when I'm not there, they have to pick up 100% of the slack. This gets met with more attitude, so I ask if I'll be getting paid sick time for the day that I missed yesterday. He says, "No, not without a doctor's note. You can visibly see my injury clear as day, and I'm trying here, so WTF?" I'm fed up by this point. So a little later on I say okay and leave to go to the doctor's for the note that he wants so badly, knowing full well they'll say to treat it and that I'll need to be off it for 3 to 5 days. After an x-ray and getting the, "Yup, it's sprained. Keep doing what you've been doing," I let the doctor know that my boss asked for a note for missing a day of work to rest it. The doctor asks me if I want to be at work to do what I can and to stay off it as best as possible. I said that's what I've been trying to do, so I'm fine with that. Though I do have sick time if it would be more beneficial to be off it for a couple of days. She comes back with a note that says I can return to work next Monday. I took a picture of the note and shot it over to Boss Man, just the photo. He replies, "What's wrong with the ankle?" Which I met with no response considering none is needed. He got his notes. I just wanted 1 day of sick time, 8 hours off. Now he's paying me for 4 days of sick time, 32 hours off, and he can't refuse a second of it. Down in the comments, people are talking about, I guess, kind of a life hack tip. There's apparently a doctor that you can call on the phone and just describe your symptoms, and they'll say, "Oh yeah, stay off it," and they'll charge you like $40 an hour or something. But the cool thing is they will email you a doctor's note because they're actually a licensed doctor. That was rSlash and if you like this content, check out my podcast where I publish the exact same episodes. Also, hit that subscribe button because I put out new Reddit videos every single day.